morning.
Morning, Bernardino.
Yes, we like Fridays.
We do.
Yes,
we do,
because
TGIF.
things just sort of simmer down nicely. And then, of course, Godfrey, good morning.
Good morning, Bernard.
How are you doing?
I'm contemplating where to get some QR wachi.
I actually have an interview with the CEO of Gibbs this morning for the business edition, and we're talking about their new universal QR code. Mm-hmm. So he'll probably tell you during that interview where to get it.
Well, that's great for people like me who don't like to carry cash.
Yeah, I actually don't remember the last time I had any money
I don't
on
like
me.
to carry cash at all.
That's actually very strange.
These days people say that it's Chimiadin.
But I don't.
Yeah, exactly. The system.
And I've even gone to the bank in like, I don't know.
Yeah,
It's cash light, eh?
yes,
Because now
and
there's
it's
the
good.
way in which you can actually take money from your bank without going there.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
But
So
for you, but I'll also be honest, for you, it's strategic. You just don't want to.
no. I don't even have too much of it. Anyway, let's get into the
Last
headline.
day, if you go into Aloski's wallet, you get something for Coco.
These days, you
Challenge.
only see cards.
You only see cards.
anything.
Yeah,
It's been
no,
wicked.
as I was driving in, there was a newspaper vendor. He's always on my route, so I always wave to him.
Yeah.
And so I was parked in traffic at the traffic light. The man sprinted towards my car. I was like, hey,
He wanted
neighbor,
to buy a paper.
my neighbor. I rolled the window down. Madam, it's Friday. But it's like, yeah. He
Is
wanted
he
me
selling-
to just no, he
Give-
just wanted
give him money.
just give it,
Tell him to give you your momo.
And as usual, I don't carry. That's why I told him that. And then he said, okay, and yeah, Monday.
No, me, I have some
So he's
strategic,
waiting for me on
one
Monday.
Ghana cedis in my car for emergency.
The way the money has reduced in your wallet, you have to be careful.
Okay, the Ghanaian Times, special voting on December 1st. 109,557 to vote nationwide. That's security personnel, journalists, election officials, etc. Education critical in achieving Ghana beyond AIDS, says Osafo Mafo. And former President Rawlings was fair, firm, and principled, says Dr. Ejapong of Jospong Group.
Front page of the Daily Graphic newspaper. Vice President pays for Wachi service with QR code scanner. 10 more defunct companies gazetted by Unisecurity's challenges order in court. Photo of Mrs. Jemima Wire, the Registrar General, on the front page of the paper. Provide Amidu 24-hour security. This is coming from the President.
The Chronicle. Are you guys ready for this headline?
Give it
Which one?
to me.
All right. Amidu. Yenya odeng. Ni wuye boy.
Uye boy. Yenya uden. Uye Yenya udeni uye boy. Okay, so basically this is the thing.
Yeah.
NDC sings for their son. Amidu Yenya udeni uye boy. That's the headline.
I did not.
Yeah, that's the
I
headline.
did not.
Yeah.
I did not sole source for only. Sorry, I did not sole source for only Lithrovitz, says Opuni. QR code can now be used to buy Wache. That's Godfred's headline there from Dr. Bawumia. And Akufo-Addo and Mahama resume campaign. Remember the 1 week of mourning, late President Rawlings.
it's over already?
And Charlie, can you
I
imagine?
thought they would do 2 weeks of.
You know? Well, that's the Chronicle.
Front page of the Daily Statesman. NLA debunks multimedia corruption allegations. First in Africa, third in the world. Ghana rolls out universal QR code. Education critical to Ghana beyond aid vision, says Osafo Mafo.
All right, the new crusading guide. Martin Amidu takes on Kennedy Ejapong about his allegations that Mr. Amidu went to Germany and had some medical treatment. Okay, Martin Amidu needs our collective prayer, says the NDC. Dr. Ejapong eulogizes Rawlings and says he was fair, firm, and principled. And Kokorobite, Langba, and Tuba install new chiefs.
Okay.
Front page of the Herald newspaper. Martin Amidu surrenders his life to Akufo-Addo. The president will be responsible for anything that happens to me. Chief Justice threatens Ghana Web with lawsuit for publishing petition from Lulubi and Akpafo chiefs. And there's a question here. BNI investigating Rawlings' death?
The Ghanaian Observer, we have a very solid marketable candidate. All right, Freddie Blay, as NPP national chairman, is charging his party. Bawumia outdoors Ghana's universal QR code. There it is again. And Rawlings was fair, firm, and principled, says Zoom Lion boss.
Okay.
Let me take you to the front page of the BNFT finally. Bernard. Collaborate with Development Bank to hasten economic recovery. BOG tells banks. Economic recovery kickstarts with launch of 100 billion Ghana Citi Cares program. And local farmer makers pursue COVID-19 vaccine deals. Seek government support to accelerate process.
The Finder, Dr. Bawumia pays for Wache with QR code. File tax returns and enjoy 1,200 Ghana Citi benefits, says the GRA. Education is critical in achieving Ghana beyond AIDS, says Osafo Mafo. And Ecom Ghana CEO wins Cocoa Personality of the Year award.
Let me take you online now. There's a flurry of Amidu stories on there. CityNewsroom.com says, "Don't provoke me. Martin Amidu speaks for the first time after resigning as special prosecutor." Also, he says, "Blame Akufo-Addo if anything happens to me." Meanwhile, Nana-Addo orders IGP to provide him 24-hour protection, and Akufo-Addo's fight against corruption was a charade, according to NDC. Other stories: 3 injured in fire outbreak at Tekendi Fishing Bay. This is the 3rd straight day of fire. Circle fire, Sakumono fire, now Takrady fire. Now, if you go to citybusinessnews.com, Black Shield customers others to start receiving government's partial payment from today. Also, economy to introduce policies targeting investors in diaspora, according to Kanoforiata. And GSS Ministry of Food deploy 801 personnel to conduct nationwide survey on food security. Meanwhile, Japan Motors launches Nissan assembling plant in Ghana. So this is the second one. The first one was Volkswagen. Moving to myjournalline.com. I never mentioned Amidu's medical records to Kennedy Japan. This is Mahama Yarega. Meanwhile, here's an ultimatum. Either the attack stop or I'll defend my integrity. Amidu to government. He also says, I have no hidden medical record from Germany. Amidu desk Kennedy Japan to produce evidence. In other stories, High Court admits alleged Uvusompofo leaked tape as evidence. Rawlings family to Anglo chiefs. We know the traditions and customs, but current situation delayed us. And here's the EC. We will announce election results 24 hours after voting closes. This is the director of elections of the EC. If you go to Star News, the lead story: fire ravages Sekendi Fishing Bay. Also, I've never been to Germany. Amidu dismisses Kennedy Japan's claims. Akufo-Addo orders 24-hour protection for Amidu, and Hassan Ayariga regrets campaign tour of Zuarungu. And Ghana News Agency is leading with Ohusampofo court case. Court admits recordings into evidence. Also, Statistical Service says COVID-19 pandemic is an opportunity to modernize statistical systems. And that if you go to CNN, their lead story says Georgia recount confirms Biden's victory. So Georgia election officials have repeatedly said the statewide audit found no evidence of widespread fraud, and therefore Joe Biden won the electoral votes in that state.
Yes, he did.
Okay, let me begin. Do we do?
Well, let me give you. Let me just summarize Amidu for you, because we have a lot of stories on the online media, because I don't think the newspapers have a lot of those stories. So I'm going to read about 3 of them for you. The first one, Amidu says that, in fact, the first one is Amidu breaking his silence in an interview with Citi FM's Umaru Sanda Amadu. And don't provoke me. Amidu speaks for the first time after resigning as special prosecutor. Story says former special prosecutor Martin Abike Amidu has warned the governing MPP against provoking him into speaking publicly about issues surrounding his resignation. And the story continues by saying that he should. Okay, let me go on. He says, speaking to Umaru Sanda Amadu in an interview, former special prosecutor says the president should be held responsible if he is harmed. All these threats of murdering me and burning my house, I'm aware. I know the persons behind it, and the president will be responsible for anything that happens to me, he said in an exclusive interview with Citi News' Umaru Sanda Amadu on Thursday. Mr. Amidu resigned from his position as special prosecutor on November 16 after accusing government of interfering in his work. In his resignation, Mr. Amidu also claimed he did not feel secure after releasing a corruption risk assessment report he did on the controversial Ejapa royalties deal. Amidu, in the interview with Sanda Amadu, said he decided not to engage in any media banter or any interview after resigning from office, and warned that he would release more salvos if he's provoked by government apparatchiks. Here's a quote: I have said that I'm not going to talk to the press since my resignation. I'm being pushed by so-called responses to me which contain blatant falsehood. But I do not want anybody to blame me when I speak out and it becomes unpalatable. So either the attack stop or I defend my integrity. It is something I won by dint of hard work from PNDC till date. So I'll not allow anybody, not even the president, to pull the integrity into the mud, he said. Now, in terms of reactions to things that have been said, he says, I have no hidden medical records from Germany. Amidu desk Kennedy Japan to produce evidence. Again, that was actually the reason why Sanda called him for the interview. Now, the former special prosecutor has fought off claims of hiding his medical records from experts in Germany. The claim made by Asin Central MP Kennedy Japan came to Mr. Amidu as a surprise. According to him, he never visited the said country Now, in Mr. Japan's interview on Net2 TV on Wednesday, he said that he was privy to some documents revealing questionable details on the former Attorney General's health status. And he's even said that MP Mahama Ayariga had that information before Amidu's vetting. Now, Mahama Ayariga himself has denied this. So if you go to myjournalline.com, there's a story that Mahama Ayariga is quoted as saying, I never mentioned Amidu's medical records to Kennedy Japan. Okay. Now, after all of this confusion, then the president has now directed that the IGP should provide 24-hour security for Mr. Martin Amidu following what he said to Sanda in the interview that his life was under threat. The story says President Akufo-Addo has ordered or directed the IGP, Internal General Police, to, with immediate effect, offer 24-hour security protection to former Special Prosecutor Martin Amidu. It follows claims of threats on Mr. Amidu's life after releasing his corruption risk assessment on the controversial Ejapa royalties deal. In a statement from Director of Communications at the Presidency, Eugene Ahin, he said, quote, "The attention of the Office of the President has been drawn to claims by Mr. Martin Amidu, former Special Prosecutor, of threats made against his life since his resignation from office. The President has thus directed the IGP to provide Amidu immediately with 24-hour police protection." Now, NDC has jumped on Amidu, which is what the Chronicle is reporting.
That is what the Chronicle is saying on page 3. Then the blink of an eye, the man who was once despised by his own party, the NDC, former Special Prosecutor Martin Amidu, has become the favorite son again. So the article goes on to talk about how the friction between Mr. Amidu and government has now, as they claim, made Mr. Amidu the lover boy, in quotes, of the NDC again. And they held a press conference, that's the NDC, to call for the protection of Mr. Amidu. And as Bernard just said, the president has directed that he should get protection. At the press conference, Sami Jemfi said the NDC has been alarmed and appalled by revelations by Martin Amidu about threats of robbery, arson, and death following the release of his corruption risk assessment report on the Ejapa scam. He needs our collective prayer and protection against the vile threats directed at his life, since, according to him, the sudden demise of Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings has removed the only protection he enjoyed from such threats and wicked plans. Remember that Mr. Amidu was a former vice presidential candidate of the NDC, and he had a bit of a tumultuous relationship with the party in the past, should we say, decade or so. And so, yeah, you can read more in the Chronicle about this relationship between.
All right, let's go to the graphic now.
Yes, let me tell you about the 10 more defunct companies who have been which have been gazetted. Story by Severius Kalideri says that the official liquidator has gazetted 8 additional fund management companies out of the 54 whose licenses the Securities and Exchange Commission revoked as the second batch of beneficiaries of the government's bailout package. 2 more companies which have also been cleared are going through the winding up and gazetting process. The gazetting completes their journeys as bodies corporates, having been duly wounded up by the OL. Those gazetted include Unisecurities Ghana Limited, QFS Securities Limited, Ultimate Trust Fund Limited, and SGL Royal Capital Limited. The rest are Corporate Hills Investment Limited, Heritage Securities Limited, EM Capital Partners Limited, and Cambridge Capital Advisors Limited. All the winding up orders for the companies have been gazetted, and notices for any remaining claims as proof of debts will be published in newspapers by the end of the week. Now, according to Mrs. Jemima Owari, the official liquidator, though, Unisecurities Ghana Limited had, however, submitted an injunction letter from its lawyers preventing her from proceeding with the process.
Now, still on this, Black Shield customers are to start receiving government partial bailout. I don't know if you have that. This is on citybusinessnews.com. The Securities and Exchange Commission has said that customers of affected fund management companies yet to receive bailouts will, from today, November 20, be able to access a partial package of up to 50,000 cedis authorized by government. According to the commission, the amount covers 89% of affected customers and 82% of pensioners. An interview with City Business News on the sidelines of time with the commission event, DG of SCC Reverend Daniel Bamitete said customers must follow the due process to access their funds. And according to them, this is because the court cases are delaying, and the government wanted to pay this before people go through the court cases.
Okay, speaking of money, as we were saying before, the Godfred's favorite story, Dr. Baumia pays for Wache with QR code, and this is in the Finder. So Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Baumia yesterday purchased Wache at a popular Wache joint in Ridge called Antimuni Wache. He used the QR code system, or Universal Quick Response Code system. The Universal QR code was unveiled on March 25th this year to enable merchants to receive payments from customers with bank accounts, wallet accounts, or card accounts from different banks and payment service providers across the country. Ghana is the first country in Africa to introduce the QR code and the third in the world after Singapore and India. This will make it easy to make payments to a merchant. You just scan the QR code displayed by the merchant with your mobile phone, and the merchant will get the money instantly from your customer like you. Now, some banks have been doing this individually, but now this is going to be a universal system that any and everybody can use. So, according to Dr. Bawumia, this is a game changer. Everybody can acquire a QR code from your bank or telco and use your smartphone or Yam phone to make payments. So trotro operators, shoe shine boys, traders, everybody can get the QR code with just 50 pesos from your bank and payment service provider. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, let me tell you about the NLA. They have also been in the news. If you go to page 6 of the Herald newspaper and also the front page of the Daily Statesman. You get details reading from the Herald. NLA boss drags multimedia group to court. Kofi Osayame, our Director General of the National Lottery Authority, has filed a 10 million Ghana Citi defamatory suit at an Accra High Court against multimedia group following an expose dubbed the lottery business. The expose or documentary telecast on Joy News channels alleged that the NLA boss Osayame in a letter requested the approval of the Public Procurement Authority to purchase 30,000 pieces of points of sale terminal via a single source procurement method. The documentary also seeks to indicate that the NLA Director General, who is a former MP for Sejaman constituency, inflated the prices of the POS by more than $10 million. These the NLA Director General has vehemently denied, noting that the defamatory statements of the defendants in the documentary were palpable lies and same were made without justification. So that matter goes on.
There's a fire story again. This is the third straight day of fire. This story is from Akwesi Ajayinim from the Western region. 3 injured in fire outbreak at Secondary Fishing Bay. And the story says 3 persons have sustained severe injuries following a fire outbreak at the Secondary Fishing Bay in the Western region. Several fishing gear have also been burnt into ashes due to the fire outbreak that occurred on Thursday, November 19. The Secondary Fire Command subsequently managed to bring the fire under control. Western Regional Fire Public Relations Officer D.O. the Third, Emmanuel Boni, told Citi News, available information to him suggests the incident may have been caused by premixed fuel. We got information about the fire outbreak around 5 p.m. Within 2 minutes, we mobilized and we dispatched to the place. Around 6:06, our men were at the scene, started extinguishing the fire. They saw the fire spreading towards the Secondary Naval Base and the Secondary Fishing Harbour, as well as the canoes and their storage of premix. We had to contain the fire and finally managed to extinguish the flames around 6:48 p.m. Meanwhile, Mayor of Secondary Takrady, Alhaji Munin Isaiah, and the MP for Secondary visited the scene, called for calm, and the pictures are unbelievable. Serious burning of stuff at the harbour, at the beach, Fishing Bay.
Okay, let's talk about voting. Special voting, it takes place on December the 1st. 109,557 people will vote nationwide. This is the special voting, again, taking place December 1st. The Electoral Commission disclosed this yesterday. The number of people voting is 17,837 less than those who did it in 2016. According to the Director of Corporate Services, Dr. Sribo Kweku, those who will be part of the special voting exercise are individuals who will be engaged outside the polling centers on the day of the general election. He says the commission has made accessible the list of such individuals for all the 16 regions on its website, ec.gov.gh. It captures polling stations in all of the regions, the name reference list as well, but the commission cautions individuals to desist from making extracts or copies without any written permission from the EC. All right, so 500 names, though, that were on the multiples and exceptions list have been added to the electoral roll to enable individuals to participate in this year's election.
The EC itself is saying that the results will be ready in 24 hours. Yeah, we will announce election results 24 hours after voting closes. This is the Dr. Sribo Kweku, Director of Electoral Services, an interview with Mamavi Abuaji on Joy News AM show, said plans are underway to ensure there is no undue delay 24 hours after polls close. All things being equal, we are hoping that before we go to bed on the 8th of December, we would have come out with the presidential result, he said. According to him, just like 2016 elections, we'll use the manual transmission for the election. The polling station will submit the results to the constituency will send their results to the region, and the region will fax the results to us. Dr. Sribo Kweku said provisions have been made to curtail challenges with getting electoral materials back from some remote areas.
Well, if you go to the Daily Graphic, it has dedicated 4 pages today to elections. So on page 17, stop demonizing EC. GCPP urges political parties. That's Dr. Henry Herbert Latte's party coach. We have a commission that is doing a good job and is going to show the whole world that Ghana has one of the best electoral commissions in the world. Now, he's touring the Bono and Afro regions as part of his campaign. If you go to page 18, LPG will change fortunes of Ghanaians.
Okay.
That's Kofi Akpalu, the presidential candidate.
Oh, the party, not the petroleum. Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about LPG.
CEO.
I thought like talking about that.
LPG gas.
Yeah.
No worries. The presidential candidate of the Liberal Party of Ghana, Mr. Kofi Akpalu, has said that he will change the fortunes of the country by helping Ghanaians to create and enjoy wealth when he's voted into power on December 7. Now, he's been also campaigning in the Volta region.
Okay.
And Gum, says they are going to redevelop markets at Osu, La, Nungwa areas. And then finally, the MPP says they are going to focus on retail campaigning. That's coming from Freddie Blake.
I wanted to give you a quick story. Japan Motors launches Nissan assembling plant in Ghana. This is under the radar, but I think it's an interesting story. As part of efforts to develop Ghana's automotive industry to serve both locally and the local and African markets, Japan Motors has set up a Nissan assembling plant in the country. According to stakeholders in the industry, the plan will promote skills development and job creation in Ghana. MD of Japan Motors, Salem Kalmuni, at the launch of the project, promised to donate the first assembled Nissan pickup to the KNUST to support technical education.
That's fantastic.
To show our commitment to cooperate and support technical education, and given this auspicious occasion, I'm pleased to announce that Japan Motors and Nissan will be donating the first assembled Nissan pickup to the Premier Science and Technology University in Ghana, KNUST. We would like to congratulate them on being recently ranked as first university in Ghana and 12th in Africa. We'll be donating this pickup to their mechanical engineering department with the proviso that the vehicle will be used for learning and training purposes only and not for transportation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of cars,
Yes.
ECG has signed a deal to install 200 charging systems for electric cars. Now remember, the world is going electric. Yeah.
Wow.
This is in the center spread of the Ghanaian Times. So in anticipation of the influx of electric cars into the country, the Electricity Company of Ghana has entered an agreement with Pobad International, a technology solution provider, to install 200 electric vehicle charging systems across the country. Under the agreement, the ECG will supply high voltage power to all of the vehicle charging systems, and Pobad will provide funding for phase 1 of the project, which will end next year. Kantanka Automobile, the Ghanaian automobile company, and AutoStar, also a local motoring organization, have already introduced vehicles that were fully powered on electric power into the market.
Amazing
So watch out
stuff.
for that.
I know somebody who's happy about this. Skrilla won!
Oh yeah.
Thank you very much, Kukri. Thank you, Godfrey. That's all we have time for. Coming up next is the City Business News.
On every street, in every town, and all across Ghana.